Hi everyone, welcome back to the homestead. If you're new here, my name is Melissa and my family and I live on a 5-acre homestead in Wisconsin, and today I would like to start a series sort of on showing you our homestead. And to start off, I'm going to show you our gardens. Our gardens this year are doing wonderfully. It was a really kind of a difficult spring, and so for our gardens to be doing so excellent is just, oh, it's a godsend. I'm so thrilled. It's a lot of work to garden, a lot of work. And I do my best. I'm not always great about keeping up with the weeds, and you will see in one of my gardens that there's plenty of weeding to be done. But I give myself as much grace as possible. I'm a very busy mother of 3, and we do our best. But our gardens sustain us throughout the year. I do a lot of canning and preserving, a lot of freezing, whatnot. So we are able to utilize our produce throughout the year. So gardening is a very important part of our homestead. So without further ado, let's go see the garden. Okay, here you go. Here's an overview of the garden. It's looking really good. It doesn't help that our grass really needs to be mowed, so it looks a little, the weeds look taller, but a lot of that is grass right there that just needs to be mowed. But let me show you what we got going on. So over here we have our onions. Now this first row in a storm got totally blown over and it really has not recovered well. So when they're dying off, I'm picking them. Some of them are still alive, but either way, they're really doing beautifully. I've got beautiful onions growing here. So I have white, yellow, and reds growing in here. And then this giant area is our potatoes. And let me tell you, this is one of the most exciting areas for me because potatoes are super easy to grow except for me. For some reason, I have a hard time getting potatoes to grow. And this year I planted them differently. I followed my dad's advice and it worked. And I'm so excited. So we have lots of potatoes. I have, if I remember correctly, I believe I have Yukon Gold, I have russets, and I have reds. So I can actually start picking or kind of sneaking a few baby potatoes from them because they are ready and beautiful. I do have some potato bugs issues going on here that we are dealing with, trying to do this without affecting our bees. We have greatly reduced the number of them, so I'm glad with that, but they're not completely gone. But it's hard to do without affecting our bees. That's a fine line. Here is my first crop of sweet corn, and it's beautiful. It is, I don't know, I'm like 5'6", and it's probably, I don't know, 4 to 5 feet. So it's doing really good. Now some of this, like these 2 rows actually in the beginning are later than the other ones next to it. So I have all different stages of corn going. Here I have peppers. Now, my peppers are doing good. Our puppy, for some reason, really likes peppers. So she has dug up a few of them that are struggling a little bit. I got one that's kind of hiding over here. I'm going to have to move that squash plant. But like this one's struggling a little bit because she really liked peppers when they were first planted. So I have to give those a little bit more love and attention. Okay, and next to the peppers, we have all of my squash varieties. So I do not have labeled what each plant is, but in there's pumpkins, there's a variety of winter squash, there's butternut, there's acorn, there is spaghetti squash, and then we're just kind of surprised with what comes up where because I just don't label where they are, but I know they're winter squash. They're all doing great. Over here I have the summer squash varieties. I think this one is a yellow squash, and I'm not sure about this one. And then we have one over here that is super struggling. So I'm not exactly sure that I'm going to get anything from that one, but we'll let it keep trying, I guess. And then over here we have 3 zucchinis. And 1, 2, 3. We got a little bit of rain, a little bit of a storm last night, so sun's kind of blown over, but look at that, some beautiful zucchini. And of course they're all kind of at the same stage, so I'm going to be like overloaded with zucchini. Here is my other crop of corn. So this section is a little more weedy because this we kind of added onto our garden this year. But there's our cat. There's another crop of sweet corn a few weeks behind the other one. This is our lower garden. Very, very proud of this, weeds and all. So now I will show you our upper garden is what we call this one. So this one here this is my project one. And there's Alice. She's a big reason as to why some of our garden's not looking great. Mainly peppers. She loves peppers, but it's all right. She's just a big puppy. So we have to deal with it this year. All right, so as you can see, this garden needs a little bit of love. Every single day I'm out here weeding, yet I swear I'll never get ahead of it. But I really do my best, and I'm okay with that. I'm actually really proud of how it looks, even though there are weeds in here. Let's start off up here. Right here we have one plant that I don't know what happened. Alice and Lily like to play over here a lot, so I think this one got crushed. I tried to save it. I don't think it's gonna make it. So this is a cauliflower. We've got cauliflower and broccoli here in the front row, and actually I'll show you. I've got some broccoli to pick today. I'm so excited. Look how beautiful this is. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm so excited for broccoli. Then we have some Swiss chard right there behind the broccoli. I do have to plant a little bit more in here. As you can see, there's a few bare spots. It didn't come up extremely evenly, but it's one of those things that comes up so quickly I can even plant it late. And then here we have lots of kale. We've been using this kale so much in smoothies and salads. We just love kale, and there's a ton here. Then we have a few sunflowers planted along the edge, and some marigolds over here. Jumbled mess here is peas, and it was like beautifully, Alice, get out of here. It was beautifully weeded, and then it just like kind of exploded, but that's all right. Peas are one of those things that can handle weeds, and it doesn't really affect their growth. So we've been picking lots of peas. There's snow peas and shell peas. There were some snap peas, but they were the only ones that really did not come up well. But it happens. I don't lose sleep over it. Then over here, this is where the snow peas were supposed to be, and I picked what I could and pulled the plants, and then I planted more broccoli here. So there's lots of broccoli in this row that will be for a later fall crop. And these two rows are beets, and they are ready to be thinned. I have a lot in there that need to be picked. So the next can with me is going to be beets. We eat so many beets throughout the year, and I just can them with water. This year I will be doing some pickled beets as well. And then in this row, I was planning on planting another crop of beets, but I didn't have any. I thought I did have more. So I planted cabbage here for a later crop, and I probably will plant some beans. And this mess, it really looks terrible, but it is what it is. There is carrots in here. Let's see if I can find a good spot to show you. There are, yep, so a whole bunch of carrots. Carrots I need to thin out. Obviously I need to weed more. Getting a little behind here, but there's also radishes in there. The radishes we've pretty much picked, but there's still a few in there. Next over here are beans. These are getting ready. See if I can show you some baby beans. We've got purple and green beans. And so here you go. Here's a bean that, oh goodness, you can't see it. Let's see if I can get closer. There we go. There's a purple bean. Here's some little baby beans. So pretty soon, probably end of the week, into the weekend, we will be picking beans. Another can with me. Get a couple pressure canner can with me. And this is my jungle, as I lovingly call it every single year. This actually is almost entirely weed free, and you wouldn't even know it. Look at how crazy that is. This is our tomatoes. There are 40 plants in there, all heirloom and started by me. So I'm extremely proud of this. It is the first year I've had a great year of starting tomatoes, and they look wonderful. We did lose a few plants to the wind when they were young. They got snapped off, but I think we started with 42 and we ended with about 40, if I'm right, but it's in there, in the ballpark. So we have, I will show you, which plant can I show you on? There's a lot of green tomatoes on here. There we go, look at those beauties. Got tons of green tomatoes. They are doing wonderfully and I cannot wait. Tomatoes are another huge staple in our life. We do all of our own spaghetti sauce and soup and canned tomatoes and tomatoes, just regular tomato sauce and salsa, and we are dangerously low. I'm pretty sure we have 1 jar of spaghetti sauce left. We eat so much of it, so a very, very large portion of our canning, of our 500 jars every year or more, is tomato product. Okay, this looks awful. It just looks like grass, doesn't it? Actually, this is my strawberry bed, and strawberries are done, and I have to concentrate on the rest of the garden, so I kind of let the weeds go, as you can tell. I will get back to this later in the summer when I have the garden more under control, the rest of the garden, and I will weed it. Actually, I'll have to get back in here by August so that we can weed it and mow it, mulch it, and get it ready for next year. And hopefully I will get ahead of the game. We'll see. But again, I do my best. Nothing is ever perfect. Okay, I'm coming around here. This is a jungle, but it's a jungle of weeds. And we have Brussels sprouts, and I promise there's Brussels sprouts in there. This is my next big project. Actually, I probably will get this done today, getting all the weeds out of here. So here we go. There's one plant. I don't know. I think there's about 30 of them in here. Again, this is another one I started. I started a lot of plants this year, and I'm actually very pleased with how they have turned out. Over here is some spinach. It is bolting. We have picked it. We're pretty much done with this, and I will till this up and I will plant a new crop of spinach. Over here is some beautiful butter crunch lettuce. It's so beautiful this year. I have one that's about to bolt here, so we will be eating that one today. We've been eating so much salad, lettuce, mixed greens, the beets and Swiss chard and kale. We've been eating so many of those greens. Right here we have our cucumbers, and today I have to get the trellises out, get them growing up on the trellises. And I have turnips over here and dill growing over here. Again, I mean, don't mind the weeds. It is what it is. I'm not losing sleep over it. And then I have some basil. This was not originally, I wasn't planning on planting these in here, but they were getting pretty burnt up in my plant shed, or in my greenhouse is the word I'm looking for. So I planted a whole bunch of herbs. I got thyme, I have cilantro, I have sage over here, and whatever makes it, makes it. My other herbs are doing really good, so that's just kind of a filler. And then we have some hot peppers over here. I have 3 jalapeno, and 1 little tiny habanero that probably is not going to make it. The other habaneros the dog ate, and this one she tried, and I tried saving it, and it is so tiny. Look at how little it is still. It's just not growing. So I'll probably end up, if I need habaneros, I'll buy them from the Amish. I have an open space here, and I will plant more greens, more lettuces and stuff like that. All right, so that is my garden. Again, yes, I know it's weedy, but we do what we do. We make it work. We try our best, and that little tiller is like my best friend. Those weeds all need to go to the pigs. And over here you can see the pigs, their pasture is right there. In the fall we will put electric fence up around this garden, and we let them have at it. They get to get all the leftovers and till it up for me. All right, so here we are coming up on Eli's little garden. Eli is going to be 10 in a few days, and he really wanted a garden this year, so this is what we have for him. We dug up a part of our yard and added some space for him. He has 4 what are these? Pepper plants. Oh goodness, it's still early. 4 pepper plants, and these I actually started. He started with, I want to say, like 8, but again, the dog really likes pepper plants. Luckily, she's been leaving them alone since they've gotten bigger, but when we first planted them, she dug them up so quickly. These ones are like your little snacking peppers, and again, these are the only ones that I started this year, but they did really good. Last year I didn't have good luck with peppers, so I didn't start a lot, but these did great, so hopefully next year I will start all my peppers. And then he has cherry tomatoes, which is wonderful. He has them over here. They're not in the jungle of tomatoes that I have, so we're able to keep an eye on them. And under here, let's see, let me get on the other side. You can see he's got a couple of them right there. Whoop. There we go. Beautiful little cherry tomatoes. And then, oh, and actually I'm stepping in here. Oops. I forgot, he planted some beans in here the other day just to fill in some spots, so stepping on them. And over here he's got 2 zucchini plants, and those are doing great. He did start this a little later, so it's behind the other gardens, but that's fine, they're doing wonderfully. Here he has one soybean plant that he grew in school, and it's doing great. Actually, oops, I think it got eaten. Yep, something ate it. It had one little soybean on it. That was when he started in school. 2 kohlrabis. Those are doing good. This blank space here has beans, again, that he planted late. Those should be up this week. And then some corn. Didn't come up the greatest, but I think for a first garden, he is doing wonderfully. All right, that's that. Those are my gardens. A lot of work, but a lot of love goes into it. I'm so excited for how great my gardens look this year. I'm really looking forward to a wonderful harvest and a great canning season. It's already started and it's just gonna keep going from here. Pretty soon I'll be canning non-stop. So if you want to see that, if you want to see a lot of can with me's, more on life on the homestead, please stick around, hit that subscribe button, like this video. Again, thank you for stopping by the homestead, and I will see you next time.